the light, the thought of creation, to do good to his creatures. And that thought creates what we call a desire to enjoy, a desire to receive, a deficiency called Bchina Aleph, the first phase. Why? Because if the light, the creator, wants someone to receive pleasure, he must create something that will desire to derive pleasure from him. So this first state is called the desire to enjoy, to feel pleasure, or a deficiency. That's the beginning of the created being. If here it's the thought of creation, and the created being here exists only in thought, but it belongs to the creator. That's the root phase. Then the first phase is already a created being. It's not a completely developed created being because its desire comes from the creator. It doesn't feel itself wanting to enjoy the light, to be in adhesion, that lacks anything. That deficiency, that lack is, let's call it inanimate lack. It doesn't obligate him at all. Why? Because it comes from the outside. Meaning this matter of creation, the desire is the matter, the substance. It's not at the expense of the created being. You can't even say that this created being exists as a created being that is outside of the creator, because everything in it comes directly from the creator, from the light. That's why it is under total, absolute control. And it's necessarily a result of the light, and that is why this desire cannot be said to be outside of the thought of creation. But this desire, which begins to feel, how does it begin to feel? The light enters into it. The light begins to impart this desire, a feeling of the thought of creation, to do good to his created beings. Meaning, it brings the desire two things. On the one hand, the light brings fulfillment to the desire, meaning the feeling of it, the feeling itself. But this feeling, the created being doesn't feel it. He can barely feel it as good because it doesn't have a preceding lack for it. It didn't want it before, where it can feel itself feeling good compared to a preceding negative state, a deficient state. And the light that expands in the created being, in addition to the feeling of good, it also brings the created being the feeling of the giver, that there is a creator who is bestowing, and it brings you this good. And if the good, the light, comes directly from the creator, then the feeling of the bestower, of the giver, comes to the created being indirectly, clothed in the light. You can draw it this way. The light comes, and in this light there's the feeling of the creator. Similar to receiving a gift from someone, I can see only the gift. Then when I see it, I see how suitable it is for me, how it fits me. From that, I begin to discover that, oh, he knows me. He wanted to give me good, something good. He loves me. He's for me. He brings me something designed for me. From the gift, I begin to attain the giver of the gift, not him himself, but his attitude. He understands me. He loves me. He wants what's good for me, and that's what he did. So the first action in creation is already the attainment of the Creator. And it brings the created being to develop. And we can understand only one thing from here. Each and every element, every state of the created being that changes in its development implies a greater attainment of the Creator. Even in our world, even in our state, where we don't know exactly where we are and where we are developing, nevertheless, each and every step in development implies greater closeness to the attainment of the Creator. And that stems from the very first action we have here in the beginning of creation. So what is the first phase? It's a desire, a concealed desire, which is the matter, the substance. And this first phase includes two parts. The first part, which is the feeling of the gift, and the second part in it, the feeling of the giver of the gift. And the difference between these two parts is that the first part is the state, and the second state is the attainment of the reason for the state, the cause of that state. Or in the second part of the first phase, we attain that there is a root phase, and it gave birth to the first phase. And out of that, there is development. When first phase begins to discern these two parts in it, it discerns in these two parts what is the preferred state. The second, of course, because in it feels a more exalted aspect, quality compared to the first part. The bestower, the one who is higher, the one who gives birth, the one who, the originator, and then it wants to be like him. We feel the first desire that in the created being that comes from the created being is a desire to be like the Creator, a desire for equivalence of form. Already the thought of creation is realized here in practice. Here it existed in potentially only at the end of first phase, but in second phase, its desire is to resemble the root phase.